The Cleveland Browns are finally doing something they haven't done in a long time. They're attacking their problems before the problems attack them. And if you've been a Browns fan for more than 5 minutes, you know how rare that actually feels. Because for years, this franchise has operated on hope and prayers offensively. Hope that the line holds up. Hope that receivers get open. Hope that anything, clicks before October becomes November and the season slips away again. But right now, in this offseason, there are two separate conversations happening around this roster that are telling me something different is going on inside that building. Two moves, neither official yet, that could fundamentally change what this offense looks and feels like when the games actually matter. And the fascinating part? Neither of them feels random. Both of them feel like a front office that finally understands the margin for error has officially run out. Let's start up front, because that's always where Cleveland's story begins and ends. Andrew Berry walked into this offseason knowing the offensive line was headed toward a complete transformation. Starters gone, depth evaporating. Injuries had already stolen years of continuity from his team, and there was no way, no version of reality, where the Browns could afford another season of chaos up front. So they moved early. Spencer Fano, Parker Brailsford, Austin Barber, 3 offensive linemen brought in through the draft, guys the organization believes can become foundational pieces over time. That's smart building. That's the right process. But here's the part that every Browns fan already knows in the back of their mind. Rookie offensive linemen almost never walk in and dominate immediately. Not in a system as demanding as what Todd Monken is building. Not with the communication requirements, the movement skills, the assignment complexity this offense is going to ask for week after week. And that's exactly why the Cesar Ruiz conversation deserves serious attention. Ruiz is currently sitting on the New Orleans Saints roster, but New Orleans just drafted Auburn guard Jeremiah right in the 4th round, which tells you everything you need to know about where the Saints see this going. Jake Beckman from Fanatid floated the idea of Cleveland making a move here, and honestly, the logic is hard to argue with. Last season, Ruiz posted a 73.1 pass blocking grade from Pro Football Focus. That's 13th out of 81 eligible guards in the entire NFL. Not elite, but real, consistent, reliable production. And the trajectory matters just as much as the number. In 2023, he surrendered 5 sacks. In 2024, that dropped all the way to 1. That's not a fluke. That's a player trending in the right direction. Now, full transparency, this isn't a perfect player. His run blocking grade last season was 44.7, which ranks among the worst at his position. And if Monken really wants to lean into wide zone concepts, you need guards who can pull, climb to the second level, and move laterally with purpose. That's not Ruiz's calling card. But here's the thing. Cleveland doesn't need him to be perfect. They need competition. They need depth. They need someone who has played meaningful NFL snaps and won't flinch when things get complicated. And when you factor in that he's got experience at center too, and we all know how much this front office values offensive linemen who can play multiple positions, the fit starts making more sense. The financial side almost seals it. We're talking roughly $2.6 million in guaranteed money and potentially a day 3 draft pick to acquire him. For a veteran guard who can step in and stabilize the interior, that's not a gamble. That's a calculated low-risk investment in a position room that desperately needs it. The Browns are not acting like a team that believes the offensive line problem is solved. They're still looking. They're still evaluating. Good, because they should be. Now, the second story, and this one is going to hit different depending on where you fall as a Browns fan. Stefon Diggs. Yeah, that's Stefon Diggs. I already know the room is split. Some of you hear that name and immediately flash back to Buffalo, one of the cleanest route runners in football, a guy who made Josh Allen look like an MVP on a weekly basis. Others see an aging receiver on the wrong side of 30 who's not the same explosive threat he used to be. And honestly, both perspectives have merit. But here's what I need you to actually think about. What does this Browns offense genuinely need right now? Because Cleveland drafted Casey Compton and Denzel Boston this spring. Two exciting young receivers with real upside. The vision for the future is there. But vision for the future doesn't win you 3rd and 7 in October. And whoever lines up at quarterback this season, and that situation is still very much developing, they are going to need targets they can trust. Not just speed, not just athletic potential. Actual, seasoned route runners who understand how to manipulate a cornerback before the ball is even snapped. Receivers who know how to find soft spots in zone coverage. Guys who never have to be told twice about leverage, spacing, or timing. That's still Stefon Diggs in 2025. The explosion might not be what it was. The 1,400-yard seasons may be behind him, but his footwork is still elite. His ability to tempo a route, stop on a dime, and create separation underneath is something you cannot coach into a 22-year-old overnight. That's built over a decade of repetition and refinement. And in a Todd Monken offense that demands rhythm and precision, an offense that's been starving for both, Diggs could be the kind of security blanket that makes everything else around him work better. Think about what that means for the younger receivers, too. Watching how a player like Diggs operates during the week, how he studies a cornerback's tendencies, how he adjusts his route against a Tampa 2 versus a cover 3, how he holds himself accountable to a standard that is classroom instruction you cannot get from a playbook. Casey Compton and Denzel Boston would learn more watching Diggs prepare for a game than from almost any formal coaching session. That developmental value is real, and the Browns need more of it in that receiver room.